Spider-Man made a deal with the devil, and Marvel hopes you forgot about it. This is One More Day, the most hated Spider-Man story ever written. It's been almost 20 years, and fans still can't let it go. And honestly, they shouldn't. Because what Marvel did to Peter Parker in this story is genuinely one of the worst decisions in comic book history. But before we get into what happened, you need to understand where Peter was at this point. This was 2007. Peter Parker had been married to Mary Jane Watson since 1987. That's 20 years of comics. They'd been through everything together. Venom, Carnage, Clone Saga, Civil War. MJ knew Peter was Spider-Man. She accepted the danger. She was his anchor. And in Civil War, Peter had just made the biggest mistake of his life. He unmasked on live television. Tony Stark convinced him to reveal his identity to the world as a show of support for the Superhero Registration Act. Peter showed his face, said his name, and immediately everyone he loved became a target. A sniper named Jake Martino was hired by the Kingpin. Wilson Fisk, sitting in prison, made one phone call and put a bullet in motion. That bullet was meant for Peter, but Aunt May stepped in front of it. She took the shot, and she was dying. This is where it gets painful. Peter Parker, a guy who has fought Galactus alongside the Fantastic Four, a guy who has beaten Firelord, a herald of Galactus, by himself, could not save his aunt from a gunshot wound. He went to every genius in Marvel. Tony Stark said he couldn't help, and Peter was furious because Tony was the one who convinced him to unmask. He went to Doctor Strange, who cast a spell to search every magical solution in the multiverse. Nothing. Reed Richards, T'Challa, Hank Pym, nobody had an answer. Peter was desperate, and desperate people make terrible deals. Mephisto showed up, not with fire and brimstone. He came softly, almost kindly. Marvel's version of the literal devil walked up to Peter Parker at his lowest moment and said he could fix everything. But the price wasn't Peter's soul. Mephisto didn't want his life, his powers, or his firstborn. He wanted something that would hurt more than any of those things. He wanted Peter and Mary Jane's marriage. Not a divorce, not a separation. He wanted to reach into the timeline and erase it completely. Every kiss, every fight, every quiet night on the couch, their wedding day, gone, as if it never happened. And here's the thing about Mephisto's deal that makes it genuinely evil. He told Peter and MJ that they wouldn't remember any of this. They wouldn't know they'd been married. They wouldn't know they'd lost something. The grief itself would be erased along with the love. Mary Jane asked Mephisto one question. She whispered something in his ear that we never heard. To this day, Marvel has never revealed what she said. Fans have theories, but it's still a mystery. Then she looked at Peter and said, "It's not the end, not for us." And they both said yes. Mephisto snapped his fingers. 20 years of comics, gone. Peter woke up single, living with Aunt May, back to being a broke photographer. Harry Osborn was alive again for some reason. The organic web shooters were gone. It was like someone hit a reset button on Spider-Man's entire life. Their unborn daughter, May Parker, the baby that had been teased across multiple storylines, was erased from possibility. She would never exist. The fan reaction was nuclear. People canceled their subscriptions. Longtime readers who had followed Peter and MJ for decades felt personally betrayed. The letter columns were brutal. Online forums were on fire. And the reason behind it made people even angrier. Editor-in-chief Joe Quesada had publicly said for years that he believed a married Spider-Man was less relatable. He thought Peter needed to be single to appeal to younger readers. He wanted to undo the marriage. But instead of just writing a divorce, which would have been honest, human, relatable, they used literal devil magic. They took the easy way out while writing a story about a character who is defined by never taking the easy way out. That's the irony that kills people. Spider-Man's entire philosophy is, with great power comes great responsibility. He's the guy who always makes the hard choice, who always sacrifices, who always finds another way. And in his biggest moment of crisis, the writers made him give up the most important thing in his life because they didn't want to write him as married anymore. But here's why One More Day actually matters beyond the controversy. It exposed something real about superhero comics. These characters can't grow. Not really. Peter Parker can't stay married. He can't have kids. He can't get old. He has to stay perpetually young and single and struggling because that's what sells. The editors want status quo. The readers want growth. And when those two things collide, the editors win. Every time. And the tool they use is called a retcon. One More Day is just the most honest version of that. They literally showed you the devil erasing character development. For years, Marvel pretended One More Day was fine. Writers danced around it. No one directly addressed what Mephisto did. It was the elephant in every Spider-Man comic for almost 2 decades, until Zeb Wells. In his recent Amazing Spider-Man run, Peter found out. He remembered the deal. He understood what had been taken from him. And the anger that Peter felt on the page was the same anger fans had been carrying since 2007. It wasn't perfect, the resolution was messy, but at least Marvel finally acknowledged that one more day was a wound that needed healing. So why should you care about a 20-year-old Spider-Man story? Because it asks a question that applies to every character you love. Can a fictional character grow up? Can they change permanently? Or are they always going to be reset to factory settings the moment an editor decides they've changed too much? One More Day is proof that sometimes the real villain isn't the guy in the costume. It's the people holding the pen. If you made it this far, hit subscribe. I'm going deep on stories nobody else is covering. And drop your hottest One More Day take below. I want to see if anyone actually defends